Try your best not to die out there.
Easy peasy. About what I did. What I did. Okay, save it. Yeah, if there was somebody in here.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Ooh. Coordinating. Nice. Leave it in there.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Okay. A round-faced balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly at his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of
What
this?
is the meaning of this? Ethelmore told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ithamore hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved to an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animasters are all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and woefully ignorant as our Redseers. We would know nothing about life or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Our leaders guide us, and without them we'd risk losing our way. If this man would strike off on his own, then let him fend for himself, without the benefit of the Sanitorium. You try with things beyond your comprehension. Seems to be we're still in the dark. Other things beyond our comprehension is dangerous and foolish.
Are you from Rayed Ceres? Are you Widewin himself, risen to smite me for my heretical belief in learning who I am and why I exist? Please. You are afraid because men have taught you to be afraid. Because they were taught to be afraid. These things are only beyond our comprehension because of the fears of people like you. Who will solve Widewin's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
I heard you were demoted. How did that happen? Well, if you're concerned, did one of the others put you up to this? Edmure, that smug weasel. Things went wrong. Everything I don't know how. I never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste in his mouth. Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it now that Edinburgh's involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at once to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. No access to the North Ward? Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. I've seen your records. I know what you're doing with them. Yeah, well, yeah.
Those are private. You have no right.
Well, you should have locked your door. He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath, and a deep scowl comprising his face. Why would you bite your finger?
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He peels a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor beneath, handing it to you. God damn it. I'm looking for an expert on awakening. I don't have time to give you directions. Go bother somebody else. Alright. So I've got the bits and bombs. Graham. So I have to speak to Graham. He was not pleased to give it, yeah. You can say that again. And say it again.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. I have no idea what I'm.
I'll see what I can find.
Dust. I have to like fight these. Okay, explore. A bit more actually. Keep your distance within that cell back there. We've had incidents where people get close. Hello? Hello? I want to shake your hand. This place is silent. Quite literally. Why are these flesh constructs just like, you know? Any better? Soon, yeah, that soon is comforting. I don't think I'll be soon. Hearing screams in the night. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo-doo-doo.
You should see this.
Wow. Some soup. Children. Yep. Keep children now, do they? Alright. Lovely. I think I bet this one is gone. Working the pace down this way. Hello? Is my face? Is this my face? Can't hope so, mate. Thundering sky, ring of blood, innocence must drown. Open this door. More. We need more.
These poor people. This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets.
Whatever it is, my friend.
Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
Hey, they make great advances here. I'm sure they know what they're doing. What were you expecting? I doubt the welfare assistants have the same experience. I'm sure they have their share of family members they'd rather forget. But if all were treated like this, the sanatorium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions? I could say that. Animancers justify their sadism with false cures and charlatans' tricks. Any good they've done is a coincidence. I suppose if they had a real understanding of all they profess to, they would not do this. The hands his head. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at the soul. Man has a look in the eyes of a haunted animal, and as you approach, he staggers backwards to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if he would get him further away from you. He cries out, a bizarre primal utterance like nothing you have heard. I need to ask you something. That is for the head dear. Grun looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed as though his tongue was cut out. They are impossible for you to discern, if indeed they were words at all. I don't think he can speak anymore, not in words at least. It is monstrous. You can ask away, but I'm pretty new to this game as well. But ask away. I don't want to be aggressive. Okay. Ran experiments on you. I guess you're a wall. He looks at you with uncertainty, slowly, tentatively. He steps closer to the front of his cell. As he does so, for the first time, you can perceive his soul within your kin. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanse of it has been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Why not? So you project out towards the main soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell, a key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the back is a rudrun, balding man. His upper teeth and pointed nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else? In your mind is a single word, and that word is no. But it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meagre flame casting long shadows across the books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs, cold metal circumscribes the crown on your head and beneath your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. I would say you don't really need a rogue to be very useful in this game. Generally, you want to have, well, you can make yourself a mechanic that basically does lockpicking and so on and so forth. So I believe they do have bonuses, a rogue. But since I'm not a rogue, I've just used my wizard as a mechanic, and they seem to be doing fine. Of course, you're going to get to a certain limit for your skills. So right now, I think I'm level 6, and I think I'm level 9 with like skill points or rest points, and it seems to be doing fine. But how far I would say maybe a quarter of the way through Act 2, and I can lockpick almost anything, so anybody can do that. So anybody can find, can discover traps and lockpick chests and stuff like that. Like I say, you don't need to have a rogue to see things. Generally, the wizard that I have, Alof, he can detect quite a lot of things. So no, you don't need to be a rogue. If that's your question, no. No, my wizard is perceived quite well, and he can see a lot of things. So, like I say, it's up to you if you wish to become a rogue and change a couple of bits and bobs with your party members. Then do so, but no. For me, you don't need a rogue in this game. Yeah, the wizard that I have seems to be doing a good job so far. So I would have liked it that way. Truth be told, generally, like I say, I think in most RPGs or dice roll games, you need a rogue to do these types of things. But in this game specifically, it's like a different rule set, so anybody can do any role essentially. But that's that. But no, you don't need a rogue. If you want to play a rogue, then play a rogue. But like I say, they're just going to be any party member is going to be quite proficient in that aspect. But yeah, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Where was that? He thanks you. Then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself being cracked. You crack within, and you feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats. And you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Okay. Another night, heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through a slit in your door, the fresh giant, the artificial being, just aside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall, the boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snake skin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away and leaves. Drom looks at you, still wide-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of the cell. So this is where So, a willowy adolescent boy stands in the centre of the cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead. The occasional blink is only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind those glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed, if you should wish. Sure. You close your eyes and edge forward towards the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You're cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and petulant, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the Sanitorium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward door opens, revealing the flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time, the misbegotten child of dissident creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were membrane. You can sense his body behind you, collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing towards a golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strange hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel, you are strong again. You step heavily footed down corridors, unheeded by other constructs and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the centre of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tethered seats of an amphitheatre. You're acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and faceless. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks and the crowd applauds with enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. Bear witness, he says, as he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow. But the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to an awe of a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theatre aglow. He opens a valve and the glow crawls through a tube along a length of copper wire that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and setting the playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. Behold, he says, but there's obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take a plodding step forward, then another, and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. How do you feel? He asked at a volume meant for the crowd. And this is a moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe as it shatters, striking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panic screams from the crowd. And by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twinges on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search for another unsuspected host. Who would put their faith in Animancer now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders, and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, with a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its centre. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You're yanked suddenly back to reality with the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul of Thanix. Ah, ha ha! The man you have been searching for, that gazes out from the burrow tusk. A watcher. Well, well, well. Mori Gut, thank you very much for the follow. Very much appreciated. Well, so we found them. Well, 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 well. A watcher. You made me into a watcher. I need you to undo it. I believe we share a common past. I'm just looking for some answers. Yes, I think I would do that one. I could be aggressive, but no. I'm just looking for some... yeah, I'm looking for answers. Why am I a watcher? Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise and eye softens for an instant, as it seems for that moment that he recognises you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what what he had to say about his jaw tightens. I know your look, you hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul, and in such a reason of being. You are like everyone. I will help let it go. I will help you let go. He dodges backwards with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. There we go. Battle! Oh, great. Okay, battle it is then. Okay, so yeah. I was hoping it wasn't going to do that. Tell you what. Wait, now he's a big troll. Okay. Speed up now. Oh, he's... Every time I kill someone, he seems to pass to somebody else. Right. And I didn't speak to this other guy first though. This is a problem. I'll still speak to them.
Right. I'll take a look.
Hey.
Dead on.
I'm gonna like him. Well, at least we got experience, which is nice. So on top of that. Take a while, but we'll get there.
Sure.
How many of them were that?
Keeping an eye out.
Another area there.
Let's go. Yeah. Nice and quiet.
Like a storage. Right. Looks like we're definitely gonna have to go there.
Let's go.
Get him! Eat him! Eat him! Eat him! Making, yeah, so he made those vessels. Now the vessels are pretty much turned against everybody.
Dead on.
Killing everyone! Come on. I think he's dead now.
Sure.
Nothing to loot, eh? Alright. See what he's have to say for himself then. Probably not much. What have you done? You've been experimenting on patients against their wills, mangling their souls. I'll witness it with my own eyes. I don't have time for this. Anna's face drains with a little colour it had. How could you possibly... Look, it had to be done. More and the others, they took everything from me. Everything when I was this close. I had to know. Had to know where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I succeeded. I had something that could make all those hollow infants into something like a real person. And with a few more patrons and a few years research, who knows? No one has come this close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue. Why I have to risk everything here working in secret. It's why we have to lie to Ethamore for me. Tell him you're clear. You've cleared me of all suspicion. No. If it means a chance of stopping the legacy, then you have my silence. I'm going to expose you for what you are.
Then I can't let you get in my way either.
Well, look at this, pal. Goddamn thing. Well, what's he got to say for himself?